All right, we're going to be getting into multiplying imaginary numbers and complex numbers. So in order to do that, you need to understand what happens when you raise i's to a power. So what you have to remember is that I is the square root of -1. So it's an actual number, so when I square it, I actually get a number. All right, so anything to the 0 power is 1. That should be understood. Anything to the first power is just itself. And then we get into more fun and exciting things. If I square this, remember what happens when you square a radical. When I square a radical, the radical goes away, so I'm left with I squared is -1. And remember, I cubed is really just these two multiplied together, so it's -I. These are the 4 powers of I. A lot of people tend to write this as a circle. Okay, so this is 1, I, -1, and -I. And it actually works its way around. So this is I to the first, I to the 0, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, etc. Okay, so when you're doing the next slide, you can see that pattern. You can do these in your calculator briefly, but then it loses its ability to do it because of the I stuff. So 1I, -1, -I, 1I, -1, -I. It just continues. So what happens if I ask you to find I to the 304th power? You're going to go around in a circle. What are you going to do? So in order to do this, you need to understand that there's only 4 answers, always. So if you think about it, if you think about I to the 34th power, you're going to go around that circle, that I circle, a bunch of times. How many times? Well, let's long divide it by 4, and we shall find out. So how many times are we going to go around that circle? How many ways can we divide up 34? 4 times. 8. So when we do that by 8, we're left with 2. So we would go around that circle, -1I, -1, -I, 8 times, but then we would have to go 2 more times. So I to the 34th is the same as I squared, and we know what that I squared is -1. That's it. So it's this one, which is -1. So these lend themselves nicely to multiple choice questions because there's just always only 4 answers, so get used to that. So let's try, I'll do 33 with you and you'll try the rest of these. So we try 33. Hopefully you kind of know already because we just did it 34, but 4 goes into 33 8 times also. 8 times 4 is 32. We have 1 left over, so we went around the circle 8 times. We have to go over 1 more time. So I to the first power is the same thing as I to the 33rd, which is just I. So anytime you have an exponent on an I, you should get rid of it because you don't need it. The answers are only going to be 1I, -1, or -I. So try 54. So 54, 4 goes into 54 13 times with 2 left over. So this is the number that's the new exponent, and I squared is -1. Try 44. So dividing 44 by 4, you get it goes in 11 times, and it goes in perfectly. There's 0 remainder, so the answer is I to the 0 or 1. And then finally do 63. So 4 goes into 63 15 times with 3 left over, so it's the same as I to the 3rd or -I. Hope you understand. Have a good day.